One thing I realized very early in life is that living is not just about dreaming. Every young person carries a dream inside, a burning desire to achieve something great, to give meaning to their life. But the real test begins when that dream comes face to face with reality. That is the moment which decides whether you are only meant to dream or whether you have the courage to turn that dream into reality. And the true purpose of youth is to build that strength within themselves. The strength that transforms vision into action and action into destiny. Today, I want to talk to you about this very journey between dreams and reality, my youth in the mirror of today. Dreams are the starting point of every great journey. A young person without dreams is like a traveler without a map, moving aimlessly without knowing where to go. Dreams give us vision. They provide us with a purpose, and they light a fire in our hearts that tells us life is about more than just survival. But while dreams are powerful, they are not enough on their own. The world does not reward us simply for dreaming. It rewards us for what we do to make those dreams real. And that is where reality enters the picture. Reality does not bend easily to our wishes. It tests us, it challenges us, and it places obstacles in our way to see whether our desire is stronger than the difficulties that stand before us. For every dreamer, there comes a moment when the dream collides with the harshness of reality. It may come in the form of failure, rejection, lack of resources, or the weight of criticism from people who do not believe in you. This is the point where most people give up, because dreaming is easy, but enduring reality is hard. Yet, it is precisely here that true determination is measured. If a person can still stand firm when everything seems against them, then they prove that their dream is not just an illusion, but a mission they are willing to fight for. Determination is the ability to continue moving forward despite setbacks. It is the refusal to let failure become a permanent label. It is waking up every day and reminding yourself why you started in the first place. Without determination, even the most beautiful dreams fade away with time. But with determination, even the most impossible dreams begin to take shape. History is filled with examples of people who were ordinary but became extraordinary because they never gave up. Their dreams gave them direction, but their determination in the face of reality made them legends. Reality often acts like a mirror. It reflects back to us our weaknesses, our fears, and our doubts. Many people avoid facing reality because it is uncomfortable to see our own shortcomings. But those who embrace it, who learn from every failure and every challenge, are the ones who grow stronger. The truth is that reality is not our enemy, it is our greatest teacher. It strips away illusions and forces us to build character. Every obstacle in reality is an opportunity to prove how badly we want our dreams. A dream without determination is like a seed never planted in the soil. It may look perfect in the imagination, but it will never grow into something real. Determination is what digs the soil, waters the seed, and protects it from storms until it becomes a tree. That process is never easy, and it demands sacrifices. Sometimes it means giving up comfort, facing loneliness, and walking a path where no one else believes in you. But it is through these trials that your determination is purified and strengthened. Every youth must understand that dreaming big is necessary, but it is only the first step. The world is full of dreamers, but very few have the courage to face reality head on. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the size of the dream, but the strength of their determination. When life gets tough, the path between dreams and reality is long, full of tests, and often painful, but it is the only path that transforms an ordinary vision into an extraordinary reality. Youth is that critical stage of life where energy, ambition, and imagination are at their peak. It is the time when a person is not yet tied down by the full weight of responsibilities, but has enough awareness to shape their own direction. Dreams are born in the heart, but without youth, they often remain just ideas. Youth is the period that connects the vision of what can be with the action of what must be done. It is in these years that choices matter the most, because the decisions made in youth echo for the rest of life. When someone is young, they have the freedom to think boldly, to dream without limits, and to act with courage. But the true test lies in whether they can channel that energy into meaningful action. Vision without action is nothing more than a wish. A young person may dream of success, of changing society, of achieving greatness, but unless they take the first step, the dream never leaves their imagination. Youth provides the courage to take that first step. It is when energy meets vision that transformation begins. And that is why youth is a bridge. It connects the world of what we imagine with the world of what we create. This bridge, however, is not automatic. It must be built with discipline, hard work, and persistence. Without these, youth slips away in distractions, wasted time, and missed opportunities. Every great movement in history has been fueled by the power of youth. Revolutions, discoveries, innovations, and social changes were not carried out by the old and tired, but by the young and daring. Youth carries with it the ability to challenge norms, to question what others accept blindly, and to believe in the possibility of a better tomorrow. The vision that lives inside a young person can become a reality only when they decide to act upon it, even if the action is small. A single step taken consistently is worth more than 1,000 dreams left untried. Action during youth requires courage. because it often means going against the flow. Society may not always support a young person's ideas. Family, friends, or institutions might tell them to be realistic, to lower their expectations, or to wait for the right time. But the right time is never given freely, it is created. That is why the energy of youth must be used to break barriers, to move forward even when approval is absent. Youth is a period of risk-taking, and every risk teaches lessons that shape the character needed for greater responsibilities ahead. A vision without youth remains trapped as theory, and youth without vision becomes wasted energy. The balance of the two creates greatness. A young person must constantly remind themselves that they are standing on the bridge between what they dream and what they will become. If they do not act now, the bridge collapses and the dream fades. But if they build it with determination, then every step they take brings the dream closer to reality. The strength of youth is not in physical energy alone, but in the clarity of vision and the consistency of action. Youth is also the time when habits are formed. These habits decide whether the bridge between vision and action becomes strong or weak. A youth who develops discipline, patience, and persistence builds a strong foundation that can carry them across the bridge. On the other hand, if youth is spent in laziness, procrastination, and meaningless distractions, the bridge becomes weak, and even the brightest visions fail to reach reality. It is not enough to dream of a better future. One must act in the present. Youth holds the key to that present moment, and how it is used will define the direction of life. Forever failure is one of the most misunderstood experiences in life. From a young age, society teaches us to avoid mistakes, to fear rejection, and to see failure as a sign of weakness. But in truth, failure is the greatest teacher, and it is through failure that resilience is born. Every person who has achieved greatness has faced setbacks, disappointments, and defeats. What made them different was not that they avoided failure, but that they refused to be defeated by it. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process that leads to success. When a young person dreams big, reality will not immediately hand over rewards. The path will test them with obstacles that may seem impossible. At this stage, many give up because they think failure means the dream was not meant for them. But the truth is, failure is evidence that you are trying, that you are stepping outside your comfort zone. It means you are moving forward instead of standing still. Those who never fail are usually those who never take risks. And a life without risk is a life without growth. Resilience is the ability to rise again after falling, to keep moving despite the pain of loss, and to learn from every mistake instead of letting it destroy your spirit. Failure builds resilience because it forces you to confront your weaknesses. It shows you where you went wrong. It teaches humility, and it sharpens your determination. If success came without failure, it would have no meaning, because it is the struggle that gives value to achievement. History remembers those who embraced failure and turned it into fuel. Scientists, leaders, athletes, and innovators all share a common story. They failed more times than anyone else, but they kept going. Every failure brought them closer to the knowledge, skills, and mindset they needed to achieve their vision. It is in failure that creativity is born, because when one way does not work, you are forced to find another. Failure challenges your mind to think differently and to discover solutions that would have never appeared in comfort. Youth often feels that one failure is the end of the road. A rejected idea, a lost opportunity, or a personal defeat can feel like the world has closed its doors. But the reality is that failure opens new doors that you could not see before. It is not an ending. It is a redirection. Those who understand this principle never see themselves as victims of failure. Instead, they see themselves as students of failure, constantly learning and improving. The pain of failure is real, but it is also necessary. Just as muscles grow only when they are pushed beyond their limits, character grows when it is tested by setbacks. Resilience cannot be developed in comfort. It can only be developed when life knocks you down and you decide to rise again. Every time you rise, you become stronger, wiser, and more unshakable. That strength becomes the foundation on which future success is built. Failure also destroys the illusion of perfection. It reminds us that mistakes are human and that progress is not about being flawless, but about being relentless. Youth must understand that there is no shame in failing. The shame lies in refusing to try again. The courage to stand after defeat is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. When failure is embraced as part of the journey, it becomes a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. Each fall prepares you for the weight of the success you are destined to carry, and each setback adds another layer to the resilience that will define your character forever. Strength is often misunderstood as something that comes from physical power, wealth, or external influence. But true strength does not come from the easy life, from comfort, or from living without struggle. Real strength comes from discipline, from the ability to control one's desires, from the capacity to delay gratification, and from the consistency of effort over time. Discipline is the unseen force that shapes character and builds the foundation for success. Comfort, on the other hand, weakens the spirit. It makes people soft, unprepared for challenges, and too dependent on ease. Those who chase comfort may enjoy temporary pleasure, but they will never experience the deep fulfillment that comes from discipline. Discipline is the art of doing what must be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. It is waking up early when your body wants to sleep. It is studying when your mind seeks distraction. It is training when your muscles ache. And it is staying focused when the world around you pulls you in different directions. Comfort whispers that you deserve to rest, to relax, to avoid effort. But discipline tells you that greatness is not achieved in moments of ease. Every person who has left a mark on history was disciplined in their habits, in their focus, and in their sacrifices. They understood that without discipline, talent is wasted, and dreams remain only fantasies. Youth is the time when discipline must be built. Habits formed during these years shape the entire future. A young person who chooses comfort over discipline may find temporary joy, but when challenges come, they will lack the resilience to face them. A youth who embraces discipline, however, builds an inner strength that nothing can break. This strength allows them to continue even when motivation fades, because discipline does not depend on feelings. It depends on commitment. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes, but discipline stays constant. It is the steady flame that burns even when passion flickers. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is rarely intelligence or resources. It is almost always discipline. Two people can have the same dream, the same opportunity, and even the same level of skill. But the one who practices daily discipline will rise, while the one who chases comfort will fall behind. Discipline creates habits. Habits create consistency, and consistency creates results. Comfort may give you rest in the present, but discipline gives you strength for the future. Every small act of discipline compounds over time, turning ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. Discipline is not about denying joy or living a life of hardship for no reason. It is about choosing the pain of growth over the pain of regret. Comfort feels good in the moment, but regret is far heavier in the long run. Discipline requires sacrifice, but those sacrifices build the life you desire. It means saying no to temptations, no to distractions, and no to the easy way when the hard way is what will make you stronger. Every no to comfort is a yes to progress. Every day that discipline is practiced, the character becomes stronger, the mind becomes sharper, and the will becomes unshakable. Strength built through discipline cannot be taken away by circumstances. Money can be lost, opportunities can disappear, even health can weaken. But the strength of discipline remains. It becomes part of who you are, guiding you through every season of life. Youth who learn discipline early never fear challenges because they have trained themselves to endure, to persist, and to overcome. Comfort may look attractive, but it leaves you unprepared for life's storms. Discipline may look demanding, but it equips you with the strength to face anything that comes your way. One of the greatest barriers to progress is the habit of blaming others. It is easy to point fingers at circumstances, society, family, or fate for the challenges we face. Excuses provide temporary comfort. They remove the weight of accountability, but they also steal the power to change. Responsibility, on the other hand, may feel heavy, but it is the first step toward transformation. The moment a person says, "I am responsible for my life," is the moment they take control of their destiny. Youth must realize, as long as they keep finding excuses, they remain prisoners of their circumstances. But when they take responsibility, they become creators of their future. Excuses are attractive because they shift the burden away from us. If failure can be blamed on luck, then effort seems unnecessary. If lack of success can be explained by unfairness, then change feels impossible. This mindset kills growth because excuses demand nothing from us. Responsibility demands everything. It demands honesty, self-reflection, and the courage to admit mistakes. But within that courage lies the key to change. Responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything. It means accepting that your response to life is within your control. You cannot choose where you are born or what challenges come your way, but you can choose how to act, how to fight, and how to move forward. Youth often face environments filled with limitations, economic struggles, social pressure, lack of opportunities. These are real obstacles, but excuses only make them stronger. Responsibility transforms obstacles into challenges that can be overcome. It shifts the mindset from "I cannot because of this" to "I will despite this." Every leader, every reformer, every achiever in history began by taking responsibility. They did not wait for perfect conditions. They acted with what they had. Excuses would have kept them silent, but responsibility gave them a voice. Excuses would have kept them passive, but responsibility drove them to act. Taking responsibility also builds character. It forces a person to look at their weaknesses and ask, "What can I do better?" instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" This shift from victimhood to ownership is where true growth begins. It may feel uncomfortable at first because it means admitting that sometimes failure is a result of our own choices. But that discomfort is necessary because it leads to improvement. Excuses freeze a person in place, while responsibility moves them forward. Responsibility is not about carrying the world on your shoulders. It is about starting where you are and doing what you can. It means taking ownership of your time, your habits, your decisions, and your actions. Every excuse made is a wasted opportunity to act. Every excuse given is time stolen from your own future. Youth must recognize that they have the energy, the ideas, and the potential to create change, but only if they stop waiting for someone else to fix things. The world does not change when we demand it. It changes when we take responsibility to build it. Excuses may protect pride for a moment, but they destroy progress for a lifetime. Responsibility may feel heavy at first, but it strengthens the shoulders that carry it. A young person who accepts responsibility for their future gains freedom because they are no longer controlled by circumstances. They begin to see challenges not as reasons to quit, but as opportunities to prove their strength. Responsibility creates leaders, while excuses create followers. And the destiny of youth depends on which choice they make every single day. Every nation is shaped not by its past, but by its future. And the future is carried on the shoulders of its young generation. Youth represents more than energy and numbers. It represents courage, creativity, and the will to take risks that others fear. The strength of any society is not measured by its wealth or its buildings, but by the courage of its young people to rise against challenges, to stand for truth, and to fight for progress. History is filled with examples where nations declined when their youth became passive, but soared to greatness when their youth chose courage over fear. Courage in youth is not only about physical bravery, it is about moral strength. It is the courage to speak when silence is easier, to act when inaction feels safe, and to dream when others are content with mediocrity. A young person with courage becomes a beacon for others, showing that change is possible even in the darkest times. Nations do not move forward because of the words of the older generations alone. They move forward when youth takes those words and transforms them into action. Without the courage of youth, visions remain speeches and hopes remain unfulfilled promises. The courage of youth is also tested in moments of failure and resistance. A young person may be told they are too inexperienced, too weak, or too naive to bring change, but history proves otherwise. Every great reform, every revolution, every leap of progress has been fueled by young people who refused to accept the limits imposed on them. They had the courage to believe that they could achieve what others considered impossible. This courage is contagious. One act of bravery by a young person can inspire hundreds, and hundreds can inspire thousands, until an entire nation begins to rise. The future of a nation is not secured by comfort or by following the easy path. It is secured by those who are willing to endure hardship today for a better tomorrow. Youth with courage are willing to sacrifice, to challenge corruption, to demand justice, to innovate, and to build. They do not wait for permission to act. They create their own opportunities. Such courage requires resilience, because every effort to change society is met with resistance. But resistance is proof that the youth are on the right path, because real change always disturbs those who prefer the old ways. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite fear. A nation with courageous youth becomes unstoppable because courage fuels innovation, unity, and progress. It is the youth who decide whether the nation will remain stuck in old cycles or whether it will rise to new heights. If young people give in to fear, the nation stagnates. If they choose courage, the nation advances. This courage can take many forms. The courage to pursue education despite poverty, the courage to start businesses despite risks, the courage to speak truth despite opposition, and the courage to dream of a future where justice, equality, and prosperity are realities. Every generation of youth holds the power to redefine the destiny of their nation. This power does not come from waiting for leaders or depending on systems. It comes from the courage within their hearts. When youth rise with courage, they breathe new life into society. They challenge corruption, they question injustice, and they build movements that reshape nations. The courage of youth is the fuel of transformation, and without it, no nation can hope to progress. As I bring this message to a close, I want every young person listening to reflect deeply. Your dreams are not just images of what could be. They are the seeds of what must be. But remember, dreams alone are not enough. Reality will always test you. It will always challenge you. And it will always demand more than you thought you could give. That is the journey of life between dreams and reality. Youth is the only time when you have both the courage to dream and the energy to act. Do not waste it. These years are your bridge, the most powerful stage of your life, where your choices decide the direction of your entire future. If you choose excuses, comfort, and fear, then your dreams will fade away like mist in the morning sun. But if you choose responsibility, discipline, and courage, then nothing in the world can stop you. Failure will come, it always does. But failure is not your enemy. Failure is the stone on which your resilience is sharpened. Each time you rise after falling, you become stronger, wiser, and closer to the reality you dream of. Never let failure define you. Let it refine you. Never let comfort weaken you. Let discipline strengthen you. These are the foundations of true character. And character is what defines destiny. My message to you is simple: stop waiting for others to create the future you want. Stop blaming circumstances, stop making excuses, and stop doubting your own power. The future of our nation, the future of society, the future of humanity itself lies in the courage of its youth. It is your courage that will decide whether we remain trapped in the past or rise to build a future filled with justice, strength, and dignity. You are not too young to make a difference. You are not too powerless to bring change. Every great movement in history was started by young people who refused to remain silent, who refused to accept things as they were and who chose to fight for what they believed in. The same courage lies within you. So today, stand firm in the mirror of your youth. See your dreams, face your reality, and build the bridge that will take you from one to the other. Because in the end, the world does not belong to those who dream, nor to those who complain. It belongs to those who dare to turn their dreams into reality.